Starting that. Oh yeah. Starting that. Oh yeah. Good morning, Joy. What's up, Rochelle? Good morning, my friends. My feathered friends. Hello, Savannah. Hello. Type in some questions. Hey, Mel, our friends have joined us. I'm not sure if you're ready. Oh, geez, we're not ready. Hold on. 1 second. Hi. What's up, guys? You got any questions this morning? Day 66. Let's see. Okay, thank you to the women's group. 5 stars. What's up, Christina? Good morning. I think I started way too early. Oh well, that's alright.
No, I'm ready.
Christopher's sister. Hey, what's up, Christopher's sister? Good you're here. Glad you're here. What's your name? Do you have a name? What are you smiling at over there?
Your comment.
Come on in. Welcome to the podcast, Mel. Good morning. How are you?
Great.
All right, good. Hi, Miss Kinda Molinet. I have a celebration. We settled our divorce in court on Wednesday. That means we don't have to go to trial. Yay! Woo! Sorry, you went through a divorce. Maybe it's better, I guess. It's a celebration, so good for you. Hello, Seth. Hey, Runda at a glance. Good morning. What's up, K-Man?
K-Man?
Ken, yeah. Runda at a glance says hello to Mel.
Hello.
What's up? Kenan sent some money your way, by the way.
Check.
Mel, you should be so proud of me. Hadn't had a Mountain Dew in a week. Boom.
Yes.
Pride.
That's what the song gonna start singing. Ain't had a Mountain Dew in a week. I totally had a choir singing with me in my head.
That was pretty good.
Can you write it like, oh, ain't had a Mountain Dew in a week. No. I love it when you sing like that and it's good and it always cracks me up. Like when you, this is funny. It's good.
I can sing.
High five to no Mountain Dew for a week.
Yes.
Yes.
No sugar, no green poison.
That's right. You turn into a Ninja Turtle, you drink Mountain Dew.
It's a toxic ooze.
That's where they got the design idea. Okay, check. You got your check?
Check.
You got your check? All
Throwing this shirt away because it stinks so bad.
Whoa. Well, you are sweaty. That's funny right there. Okay.
She comes alive when we go live.
Scooch back
She's a performer.
tiny bit.
Can we just do that to the whole podcast? Sure. Want to sing?
I'm game. Okay, are you ready? Here we go.
5-star review, entertaining, relatable, and informative.
Informational would have been a much better rhyme.
Oh, well, I was reading it.
Ready?
I found this podcast through Bad Christian and I've listened to every single episode.
Oh my gosh. The last note got me.
Episode.
Okay, we gotta start this thing. Are you ready?
It's Friday morning and I'm feeling good. It's Friday morning and I'm feeling good.
You're gonna knock something over.
Is that an SNL reference, Sweaty?
It
Yes,
is. It is.
Sounds like a commercial or something.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
We got it.
I have the hard part of starting it now without laughing.
This is calling finding the joy in life even when it's hard.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I needed this.
I told Mel this morning, I was like, I just don't have any gas. But I went to the gym, ran miles, and worked out full
Hung
body,
out with our friends and we found a guess.
That's right.
Our gizness.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the Anatomy of Marriage podcast. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
Good morning. My name is Seth Studley, and I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. I just threw my headphones off.
People aren't... Go.
Okay, sorry. Today is day 66, and it's titled, I didn't know I was mean. I am terrified of marriage, and why does my husband look at other women?
If you're new here, welcome. We are on episode 283 of the Anatomy of Marriage podcast, and we make this show because relationships are amazing, but sometimes they're incredibly difficult. We had an incredibly difficult relationship that we turned into an amazing relationship.
Yep.
So that's why we do this show. And every single day of the week, we are live on Instagram and Facebook. You can join us there at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and hang out and ask questions and have fun and see the pre-show and the post-show, which is always fun. We just literally did like a song jam.
It always sounds. Somebody said, log into this stream in mid-giggle fit and didn't know I needed that in my life today. Good morning from Florida. Good morning.
Yeah, we've been having a good morning so far. And as always, the show is brought to you by Audible. We love audiobooks. We listen to them all the time, and we want you to have a free one on us. Mm-hmm. So go to audibletrial.com/anatomy of marriage to get your free audiobook and to learn something.
That's right. Be smart, do
Thank
smart
you,
things.
Audible.
Okay, our review of the day comes from Nikki Carnley. 5 stars. Boom. 5 stars, thank you. Entertaining, relatable, and informative. I found this podcast through Bad Christian and have listened to every single episode. This show has been extremely beneficial to me and my husband because even though we have a great marriage, there is always room for improvement. Learning about Seth and Melanie's personal experiences plus psychology concepts and tools is so helpful. As a Christian, it's refreshing to hear a couple who follow Jesus but are still transparent about real problems. I love this podcast because it manages to be entertaining, relatable, and informative. I reviewed the show on my personal blog because I believe it has something special, and I'll always listen to and continue sharing it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
That
especially
review.
For sharing it on your personal blog.
Yes.
I wish everybody would do that because that gets more listeners to the show.
Helps more people, yo.
This is true.
And the Bad Christian podcast.
Yeah.
I helped make that sound design in the intro, their recent intro.
Yep.
I picked all those clips.
You did. Good job.
I love sound design, and I worked with Chris Keene.
He's great.
He is great.
Okay.
Anyway, he's not on the Bad Christian podcast, but I like him. He was in Number One Gun. Okay, are we ready?
Yep.
So before what am we doing? Oh, I skipped the first question. Okay, so question number 1 from our listener says, I don't know what to do. I've been with my girlfriend for a little bit over a year now. I'm in love with her. She treats me well. She cares for me, and we have fun and good communication. When we first started dating, I said I did not want to have kids and I didn't want to get married. As our relationship developed, I learned I had anxiety, depression, and have a disorganized attachment style. She knows this and is the one that actually pushed me to start therapy. A few months ago, she asked if I would ever change my mind about marriage. I said it was a possibility. I would continue going to therapy as I have a lot of issues with trust, commitment, self-love. It's been a few months. When we talk about marriage, it causes me a paralyzing anxiety. My heart feels like it's in my throat. My blood pressure goes up and I lose my words. What makes it even worse is that I go back and forth whether we are going to do it or no. One day we're looking at engagement rings and talking about it with full joy, and then a few hours later I can only think about it in complete terror, and I tell her I don't think I can do this. I question whether I'm doing this because I want to or I'm doing it out of fear of not having a family. I grew up in a very broken home. No mother, dad was an addict, and I was raised by my grandma. What's weird is that I feel committed in this relationship. I am willing to sign a will, leaving everything to her. Make her my power of attorney in case I am incapacitated. She is the benefactor of my 401k and life insurance policy. Walking down the aisle creates so much fear. Whereas I could jump out of a plane without a second thought. What do I do?
So, as you were reading it, I was kind of thinking about it as a therapist and getting a clinical formulation of this. And this is from the men's group, by the way, and there was some good advice on there. So I hope you're listening to this because I didn't type this in the men's group. But it's not surprising that from your family of origin, no mom, dad was an addict, had to grow up with your grandma, that there was a very high amount of uncertainty in that, Why would I get married if it just turns out like my family of origin did, right? So it's no wonder that you would jump out of a plane or do all this other stuff because that is almost easy. I mean, not easy. I don't want to
well, it is. Jumping out of a plane is 1,000 times easier than facing the fear of marriage
because jumping out of a plane at least can be predictable. Well, I have a parachute. I have a backup parachute. It'll open. All this stuff, but marriage, oh my goodness, are you kidding? I don't know what she's going to do, what's going to happen, how am I going to react, we're going to have kids, where we're going to live, all these variables, right? And that is what you're afraid of. And I would say that just slow it down. I'm so glad that you're in therapy. That's really good. And you've only been dating for a year, so date another year and say, I'm open to this, and like really talk to your therapist about these things, because there's blockers, there's blocks of why you don't want to get married. If you're in love with this person, if she's good, not crazy, if you guys both have a level head on your shoulders, that doesn't mean that stuff isn't going to come up, but you can grow closer and closer every single day to getting nearer to that idea of marriage. And you absolutely, here's the cool thing, you absolutely have every power in the world to change your family of origin, to change your family tree. You don't have to be an addict. You are going to be present. You are going to be with your possible wife, and you can change that, right? It's like every single day we can literally, if we're walking this way, oh my goodness, I'm so scared. You can walk this way, and like, I choose this way. I choose not anxiety. I choose not depression. I choose not fear. Of course, if there's organic things going on, then you want to get that taken care of. Somebody says premarital counseling helps too. Good thing, because we have a premarital series coming out very, very soon.
That's right. Good segue into that. I know.
I seg.
There's a couple things that I want to say about this, and the thing that kept popping into my mind is that our family of origin is how we learn what to expect from life also, which I don't think I've ever really said. I mean, we've kind of said that, but not in that exact way. And this is an analogy that came into my mind. So I've had lots of weird medical issues throughout my childhood and my adult life. And one of the things that I had, which was terrible, was like I went in, they thought I had cancer, and they did this, what was it? The radioactive dye. Medicine. They did a nuclear medicine test, and they gave me the wrong one. They gave me the wrong nucleotide, and it was kind of traumatic, because then I had to get another radioactive dye injected into my body the next day. #cancer. I'll probably get it from that. But anyway, they did. So that was a traumatic experience. It was incredibly stressful. For many, 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 many reasons. I had miscarried a baby. That's why I was in the hospital in the first place. All these terrible things. I was really sick. I was completely stressed out. And we had little kids at home. And they did this thing, right? So if that was my experience of hospitals, and all I knew of hospitals was they mess up, it's terrifying, you feel terrible, they give you the wrong thing, you're stuck there, you can't leave, then you get a $10,000 emergency bill, blah, blah, blah. If that was my only experience with hospitals, I would be like, keep me away from hospitals no matter what.
Right.
And so your experience with a married family is not great. If you had an addict for a mom, you were raised by your grandma and your dad wasn't there. Like
opposite of that.
A similar shuffle the dice a different way, roll the dice a different way. But if that's your experience with a family and a marriage, of course you're going to be afraid of it, right? So
it's almost a PTSD trauma response, because I'm getting close. I'm going back to not having a mom, having a dad who was an addict, not knowing where or what things were going to come from. So increased blood pressure, intense anxiety, almost a panic attack. So just work through that with your therapist. Take it slow. It sounds like your girlfriend is cool and supports you in a good way. So I think you're okay. I think you're fine. Just keep on doing the work.
I'd like to finish what I was saying also. Am I allowed to do that?
Yes, you are.
No one was listening earlier, and they don't know why you're singing.
I can't sing? Okay.
They don't know why you're singing.
Okay.
But the thing that I think is really important is that it's your past that is making you afraid. Like, when you feel that tightness in your throat, it's not your girlfriend that's causing that fear. It's your brain you're looking in the rearview mirror and being like, but oh my gosh, what if? Right? And so I would challenge that thinking, but not in a like, you're not being stupid. That's a big deal. PTSD is a big deal. And you can work through it well. And it sounds like your girlfriend is kind of a rock star. So high five to the rock star girlfriend.
Okay, next question.
You have to read that one. It's really long and I can't read it.
My arms are having a hard time holding the computer. Okay.
I'll help.
Oh, this is what true marriage is.
Go ahead.
Okay, dear Seth and Melanie, wow, what a podcast. I've been listening since before you changed the name to Anatomy of Marriage, and I've so appreciated everything about it. I've told so many of my friends about your work. Thank you for doing that. That's awesome. My boyfriend and I have been together for 4 years. We're best friends and also in love, but we had an incredibly difficult year. I bought a house. We don't live together, which was great, of course, but it's stressful. Meanwhile, our church is going through a tumultuous leadership transition. I've been stressed out consistently for months now, and yesterday was the day I reached a breaking point. This time, the stress turned into a fight, which turned into really hurting each other and not knowing how to have the conversation about it without just hurting other more, sometimes something pretty unusual for us. Then he told me he feels like he can't help me when I'm stressed, and it's because he's not sure what to do, so he guesses. And when he's wrong, I get mean. He told me that I'm mean to him when I'm stressed. Doing the math on how long I've been stressed, that means I've been doing it for a while.
I've been mean to him for a while.
Before I could even respond, Melanie, I heard your voice in my head sharing about when you realized you were being mean to Seth. I also heard my own voice say, what? Mean? When have I ever been mean? Because of your story, I took a beat and said to myself, if the person closest to me who also spends the most time with me says I get mean, there's probably some truth to that. At the very least, it's true to him, and that's unacceptable. So instead of reacting and scoffing, what are you even talking about right now? Instead, I sincerely apologized, reiterated that I never once wanted to be mean. So I'm grateful he finally told me, and we were able to reconcile a very broken part of our relationship. So my question is now...
No, you can't pass this. I asked him to forgive me. He did, and then I just held him while we cried.
Oh.
Don't skip that.
Okay, sorry. I'm so grateful he finally told me, and we were able to reconcile. My question is... Now what? What happens immediately after you found out you've been mean? What are my next steps? His language of apology is change behavior, but if I don't know my initial behaviors were, how can I do them differently the second time? I expressed this to him later and asked him what would be something that I could do or say that would definitely tell him she is being kind to me. But he said he doesn't think about adding more...
He doesn't think it's about adding more kindness. He assured me that I'm very kind to him almost always. It's just when I'm stressed. Maybe I can't remember being mean because it only happens when I'm stressed. Is it a Jekyll-Hyde phenomenon? Also, he is a southerner, and I'm also a northerner from the big city, East Coast, though. So it's possible we have different understandings of mean. It is also entirely possible that I am being mean. I don't mean to sound like I'm trying to get out of underneath it. Melanie, what do I do next? Seth, what advice do you have for him as the one on the receiving end of all of this? I have to learn to do things differently, and he has to learn to reinterpret what I'm doing, right? Any advice either of you have would be wonderful.
Okay. So, somebody...
This is a great question.
This is a really good question. So, he's a southerner, she's a northerner, and...
Yankee.
You're a Yankee. Seattleite.
Yankee candles.
Okay,
go ahead.
Anyway, okay, well, she asked you the question. What should she do next?
I think there's a lot of what is the word? Like self-evaluation. I don't know if that's the correct term, but a lot of like really looking at your behavior and how and thinking about how someone else could interpret it, right? So we understand our intentions on everything, our own intentions, because in our head we go, well, I'm not trying to ignore Seth, but right now I need to finish this email. Obviously, he gets that. No, he doesn't. He doesn't get that. That happened yesterday. So here's a really good example. Seth came home from work. He knew that I was having a hard day with the kids. But at the moment that he came home, we were in the middle, and this doesn't sound so stupid. We were in the middle of playing like Super Mario whatever, and we were beating the entire game. That doesn't sound important. But yesterday was such a hard day with our kids that was all I could focus on was playing Mario with them as like a repair thing, like this is a thing that's going to bring the peace to our home, which sounds so weird. And Seth had no clue why I was so engaged in this game and basically ignoring him. But there was a part of my brain that was like, I can't focus on Seth. I've got to do this thing. So I knew my intentions, but I'm sure that he was like, what is going on?
A little bit, but I also knew that you probably had a hard day.
Well, yeah. And I tried to like give him signals because I can't talk about this stuff in front of our children because it's triggering. And so, but that all that to say that often as the person doing the behavior, we only see our perspective, which is perfectly crystal clear because we came up with our perspective, right? So it's a matter of us being able to do kind of what I did. Like I knew when Seth got home, he's going to be interpreting this like I'm ignoring him. But I also can't like straight up just talk to him because the kids are invested in playing this game in a particular, there's so much to that story, but it's a lot of like self-reflection, assessment of any given circumstance. So look at yourself from the second perspective of you. Can I talk about that, or do you want to say something?
No, not yet. Let's answer the question kind of thing.
Well, it's answering that question.
Okay, go ahead.
But so like I think there's two versions of people, right? There's the person in the space talking to Seth, doing whatever, and that's like the feeling self. And then there's a thinking self way up here that's separate, and it can look down on the situation and have a different perspective of it. That thinking self, the one way up here, I call it the plural thinking self, has to look down at whatever the situation is and go, wait, could Seth be interpreting that weird? Oh, I guess he could. Maybe I should change my behavior. That is helpful to me. I don't know if it's helpful to you.
Right. And as a therapist, I would say, ask again, tell me about a time when you weren't being mean, when your boyfriend wasn't saying that you were being mean, and then look at all the extenuating circumstances around that. Well, no, I wasn't really stressed. Me and my mom didn't argue or whatever, right? And then ask the times, oh, I was really mean. Okay, what else was going on, right? Because there's usually some sort of antecedent or precursor or stressor before that happens, right? Unless you're just mean all the time, which I hope not.
Well, that would be kind of like finding your triggers, like finding the thing that frustrates you or flusters you. Your boyfriend might be a great resource in this.
Right.
He might know exactly what flusters you.
Yeah, somebody says the Enneagram might be helpful in this, so you can get an understanding of your kind of core motivation. Let's see, communicate what stresses you and how he can help when stressed out. Let's see, finding healthy outlets to release that stress, yoga, exercise, prayer, etc. Yeah. Not weird. LOL. Winning at Mario is the best.
I'm pretty good at it.
They actually beat it too. So
well, I used Nabbit, which is totally cheating, but I had never used Nabbit before. Nabbit can't die.
I don't know.
With like the mushrooms, he can't die.
That's good.
I love Mario. I want to have an AOM Mario party. Gosh, that would be rad, and like Tetris. But I did want to say she is saying very specifically, I don't know when I mean. So that's the other thing too.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a process. It's like a slow ascent. Like you just kind of like you're switching back. Sometimes you make progress and whatever.
Let me say something. If you don't know when something is happening, then you need to slow down, kind of take an inventory, and start journaling, right? And listen, ask your boyfriend, ask other people, like kind of that letter that you wrote out a long time ago, like, hey, tell me some things that I'm not seeing, right? Ask your friends, ask your family, am I mean? Am I a mean person? And when am I mean? And they might be like, well, yeah, you kind of are. Okay, listen to that and don't fight it. Don't be mean back. Just be quiet and listen. Take some time to journal and do some self-introspection.
Well, and you can also too have like a code word with your boyfriend. I actually did this just yesterday with our kid, where I was like, I need a word that lets me know that you're not able to like cope with something, and so we chose the word I'm feeling overwhelmed, like that sentence, I'm feeling overwhelmed, because it's different than how he would normally talk. So it's like, oh, this is a trigger for both of us to sort of switch into a different gear of thinking. And so maybe your boyfriend, you can have a conversation with your boyfriend where you say, when you sense that I'm starting to get mean, let's find a kind and loving phrase or word that will help bring us both back and give me the awareness that I need. Because and we should do that too. For sure. Because what always ends up happening is you end up getting upset at me, and then I respond to your upset feelings, where I'm like, if you had told me that you had noticed this behavior, I could have addressed it then, but now I'm responding to your hurt feelings. So I don't know, what's our code word? Fitzwilliam?
That's a good one.
Fitzwilliam, I need you?
Yep. That's from
Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, I love that code word concept, because sometimes I dig myself into a hole and I don't even know how to let my husband know I need help in getting out of that emotional hole.
Get out of the emotional hole.
Yeah.
The e-hole.
Gross.
What?
I don't know.
Just a vowel plus the word hole.
Oh.
E-hole.
Oh boy.
I'm in an e-hole.
That's good. Okay.
It's funny.
My husband is away at boot camp right now, and I am struggling with trust issues. He stares at women that he finds attractive and jokes around with them in a way that I hate. The worst part is that if he knows their name, he will search them up online. He did this very thing on my birthday and on the day he left for boot camp. I found out about it, and he lied to my face and said he didn't look this girl up. What do I do? Am I wrong? Why is that part highlighted?
It's just, don't worry about it.
Okay. Am I wrong to feel jealous and hurt? A year hasn't even passed since he searched that girl on my birthday and on the day he left. Am I wrong to be suspicious? He says he thought I would have moved on by now, and I know looking up girls is a small thing, but I believe that's where cheating starts. It always hurt me when I caught him searching girls. My biggest thing was his constant lying when I found out about it. I would trust him more if he didn't lie about it in the first place. Anyway, sorry if this is all over the place, but I'm feeling so tired of arguing each time I get jealous and defending why I feel that way. I feel like it's just a consequence of what he did.
Yeah.
What do you think about this?
It's just really hard. There's more to the email. It's highlighted weirdly because I had to crop it down because it was really a very long email. So I know a little bit more of the backstory than what is in there, and this is such a hard question because I don't understand, just personally, and this is maybe just my. I mean, who knows what it is? But if I would just, my brain can't figure out how someone would be like. Totally married, in love. I'm going to Google some chicks right now. So it makes me super mad. So I don't know that I have a great perspective on this other than I want to help the wife get through this. But I just don't understand that. And I feel like it's a maturity thing on the husband's part or an avoidance tactic. Like, I feel flooded. I am emotionally unintelligent. I'll just look at some girls online. Like, I don't get it. So
a coping skill?
Yeah, a coping skill that is, like, destroying his family.
Right.
So.
Well, the thing that is not okay, I don't think you're wrong to feel jealous and hurt. Because
not at all.
That's
totally natural.
That's a thing that is a natural feeling. What am I trying to say? From something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then you said, let's see, kind of jokes around with girls like in person.
Yeah, well, in the thing she said they were at like a cell phone store, and he's joking around with the sales lady,
right? And
then got the business card and then Googled her, right? It's that kind of stuff,
yeah,
which is just so a-hole-y to do.
Yeah, that's not an okay thing to do. I don't know. I mean, I think that could lead to cheating. I mean, not to like super alarm you or whatever, but and then lying about it, that's not okay either. So I think the suspicious feelings and it's like this kind of behavior is, I think, very normalized.
It's totally
for guys to do.
And that's what I'm trying to get at. I don't understand. It's acculturated to men now to dink around online and look at chicks and be on dating apps when they're married.
Right.
And I don't get it. I don't understand how culture became this way. And it pisses me off. Like legitly, because I think it's so damaging. It's so incredibly damaging.
I'm so angry at the husband and my heart hurts for his wife. I know. That's communication, honesty, respect, boundaries. He is invalidating how she feels. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things going on. And let's see. Looking up girls is not small. No, it's not.
It's not. That's not a small issue, for sure. And that's what I was going to say is you're downplaying. And also, it could feel like it is a relatively small issue because in culture, it's so common. Yeah,
and like I've never been in the armed services, so he's away at boot camp. It's probably even a more normalized thing there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, yeah, this was happening when she was there. I mean, he's not on dating sites. That's not what I meant. Did you say
what
that?
Are you talking about?
Someone wrote, yo.
Boot camp in the Army.
Yeah, never mind. I'm reading two things at once. I got confused.
Oh.
He says, you married and on dating sites? Heck no.
Yeah.
That's wrong on so many levels. Okay, so if anything, to the wife, you are hearing many people say this is not acceptable behavior. And it's so hard because I don't understand the thinking, the line of logic behind that. It's like saying, I want to build a really great house, but every time I build the frame, I'm just going to tear a few of the walls down, okay? Not all of them, just some of them. And then I'll continue building tomorrow. But then the next day I'm going to continue to tear some walls out. Not all of them, just some of them.
Right.
And it's the stupidest logic. It's the most childish, it lacks emotional intelligence to the nth degree of nthness that I can't even wrap my brain around it.
So I have a lot of female clients who...
You would. Just kidding. Can continue.
Who are in weird relationships. You know, like one in particular, I'm just like, I don't even understand this, right?
You mean like they're in a relationship?
The husband, well, not the husband, it's the boyfriend's behavior. And I'm like, we talk about this. Why don't, can you leave? Why don't you do this?
Yeah.
So I think there's like, and I'm not saying this person or whatever, but I'm thinking like the kind of cultural behavior that has become normalized for men to do is wacky. That's not okay if you want to build something, right?
Yeah.
And then also the cultural female response is like, well, I just don't know and I can't do this. I'm like, so the guy has to get it together and know that this is damaging. And then I think it would be helpful also if the other partner, the wife or the girlfriend or whoever, draws some very clear boundaries around this and denormalizes this normalized behavior.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. But I feel like it would come across because I feel like we have a society, especially people that are younger right now, just the way that society is, the trends of how things are changing. It's like everyone wants to be a kid. Nobody wants to have actual emotional intelligence. They want about 7th grade and then done. Like, I'll do things I did in 7th or 8th grade and you will deal with that until we're 70. It's like, why is the standard so low? There's nothing wrong with 7th graders. Don't hear me saying that. But you see what I'm saying?
Have one soon.
Like, emotionally, we are all behind. We all, or not all, but so many younger kids right now, or younger generations of people who are dating, are behind. There's like a lag of emotional intelligence development. And so it causes these weird, hyper selfish relationships. That's hyper selfish to be like, what? I'm just Googling someone that I met. Why wouldn't I do that? Because it's stupid. Don't do that. You know? And so I don't know. That's where I'm saying to the wife, but again, this is not going to be easy to do. So I don't necessarily want to give you this advice, but I'm going to say what I would do is that, and this is what I have done in our relationship several times, where I feel like I am ready to take my everything to the next level. Like, I'm not going to be an emotional 7th grader. I will not do that. I can't now with children. I can't. Like, It's not a choice anymore. Actually, it is a choice. And if I chose to stay an emotional 7th grader with children, I would screw them up royally. So I have said, dear husband of mine, I am not going to accept X, Y, and Z behaviors from myself or you. You're welcome to get on board. If you don't, peace out. Like, there is a point for my own personal development and these just sort of like the wellness of our kids, where I have literally said to Seth, if you can't join me here, I'm going to live with my parents for a while. And it's not a threat. It's like, I will accept this level of living, and I'm literally not going to accept you Googling women online or any number of things, whether it would be like you don't have a drinking problem, but if you did, I'd be like, peace out. I'm done. I'm not going to sit here while you drink our family into a hole. I will live with my parents down the road. When you're ready to develop beyond 7th grade, come and find me. Right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's not a threat. It's not ugly. I'm not hitting him. I'm not telling him he's an idiot. It's like, I am saying this is the standard of living that I will accept for our family, for myself, and for him. Right? But that takes a very willing partner and a very growth mindset partner. And I don't think most people can do that, especially if they're used to the 7th grade level of emotional intelligence. You know?
I agree.
What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Okay. Says mad. There are comments here.
Let's see. That's because everyone...
Oh, I was reading that one.
I would be very uncomfortable if I found out that someone who met me went home and
Googled me. Yeah, that's disrespectful. I totally agree.
Kind of creeper.
I agree.
It could be creeper, but like for people we interview and stuff, it's like, yeah, we want to know information about them, so that's not creeper. But
I go to their website.
Let's see. That's because everyone is stuck in social media. It's like mind jail, and it just keeps perpetuating itself because we as a culture are inundated with stupid people, and then they become idols.
I love that idea of mind jail. That's exactly what it's
mindset is not common. Yes, it's not. Yes, he is giving away his sexual energy to strangers over his wife, leaving her with way less than she deserves.
Yeah, those are great insights.
Like the idea of sexual energy and how much you have. I do not understand why so many men do things to women that they would never put up with. Like they wouldn't be able to handle half the crap they send so many women through.
You know why? I totally agree with that. Women are like...
No, say some women. I think...
No. I think of native cultures, like tribal cultures, communal...
Indigenous cultures, you mean?
There's another word I'm trying to say, but yes, indigenous cultures.
Collectivist
cultures, where the women are like these monolithic...
matriarchs.
They're matriarch. That's how a lot of cultures have women as the core of the goodness in those cultures, and Western culture does not. And so I think of like all of the indigenous art where these like big, fat, birthy ladies with boobs everywhere and big tummies, and those were the goddesses of those tribes, right? And it drives me crazy because it's like our culture has totally reversed that. And you're right, men would never put up with this crap, but women are so flippin' strong. We have no choice. We have no choice to put up with it. We know if we don't, we'll ruin our entire families. If we, whatever, total tangent. I don't even want to go there. My brain is going 1,000 directions at once. But it just drives me crazy. Yeah. It absolutely drives me crazy.
Yeah, but on the other hand, also, women do some crazy things. And men just like, it's almost like an acculturated thing. It's like women are doing nutso things and men are just like, whatever, then we go over here and check out, and then it's just a perpetual cycle. It's like pursued distance.
Yeah, it's
insane. Like again, like I work with all kinds of women who have had like tons of trauma, and guys too, and like it's just a cycle of trauma and hurt and craziness. You know, it's like yelling. It's like you guys are never going to do anything or get anywhere, but you stick together and misery loves company. It's just like this whole cycle of bullcrap.
You know what I think it's like, and this is going to sound super weird, just hang in with me. Like, you know the yin and yang symbol? Like the two, I don't know what it means. I have no concept of its cultural relevance to anything. But yeah, I think it's like that. I think men and women are not... One is not stronger, one is not weaker. We have different strengths and weaknesses, and we need one another. And I'm not saying anything about same-sex relationships. I am not saying, like, a man needs a woman. That's not what I'm saying.
There's a feminine energy and there's a masculine, right?
Well, whatever. I just think people need each other. And when you're in a married relationship... and it's all relationships, but in like our dynamic, there are things that you are great at that I, like reading a piece of paper. I can't read a piece of paper.
That's the best thing I'm great at.
I can't read a document, but Seth can read 1,000 of them and sign them and all of these things. I can't do it. So we need one another, and we need the strongest parts of our energies to balance one another out. And often we are using the strongest parts of our energy to like avoid one another. We're using the strongest parts of ourselves to hide from one another. The energy that we're not putting toward love and like wholeness as a couple, we are putting to hiding, lying, getting away with something, numbing out, drinking, looking at porn, right? We're taking all of this like galaxy universe of energy that should be like creating this like Kung Fu Panda yin yang like thing, and we're diverting it and distracting it and pushing it away, and so it's like expanding out in a way, not in.
There are a lot of things that like push that away, and like as you were talking, I get overwhelmed like instantly all the time, which sucks. But like I had a glimpse of like if there wasn't all this other crap or deadlines that we have to do and this and that, it's like I would just want to live in a world of like creating awesomeness all the time, like literally doing the podcast all the time, making content, just like actually being in a state where it rubs off on our kids and encourages them and stuff. But right now it's just, it feels so overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? There's another tangent, but it's like I was at the gym and thinking like, we don't do stuff with our kids. I don't even feel connected with them or anything like this. I mean, I guess we do, but it's just so weird right now.
There's a lot going on in our current lives, that is for sure. Yeah. But it just makes me think of that concept, like, we need to, I don't know, there's an energy that people have, especially in a relationship, that we are absolutely unaware of, for the most part, in our culture. And it's a shame.
Somebody says, hold on. A guy feels safer and in control when oogling and googling. Real people can make me uncomfortable. I might need to change. I think you answered your own question.
Yeah, bud. That's so hard though, because real people have thoughts and opinions and they talk back, right? Computers don't say anything.
Right.
The picture of the chick that sold you your cell phone, the picture doesn't say anything.
Right.
You know, so that's true, but yeah.
Every decision you make is either for connection or for distance.
Oh, that's a good one.
True. That's real, Seth. What's real? I don't know what I said. Immaturity is so much easier.
Yes, I love that. Y'all's feed in this one is great. Okay.
Anatomy of Marriage Community Podcast. Right,
yes,
guys?
Actually,
okay.
As we wrap up, this is what I wanted to say. I wanted to do a shout out to the women's group because I posted yesterday because I was losing my mind at home. Yesterday was incredibly hard. Incredibly hard. And immediately, tons of responses. Extremely helpful responses. I learned that the guy who wrote The Explosive Child has a podcast that I am now listening to, started this morning, and it's like I'm so thankful for it. I can't even tell you. I'm so thankful for the women's group. So thank you for being there for me. Please use these groups. They're growing like crazy, which is awesome.
Yeah.
The women are doing way better than the men, by the way. Stronger. Hashtag stronger.
I think there's 200 more people.
Yeah, there's twice as many people in the women's group, women. So anyway, thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. You have no idea. Like, you are my therapy, if that makes sense. You really, truly, truly are. So thank you.
Thank you.
And then the second thing I want to say was that we want to encourage you guys to do a AOM meetup of your own. So there was one the other day in Texas. I don't know, Keller? I don't know what city it was. Leslie did it and Lauren did it. But there was, so I encourage you, especially like these were moms who met up. They had their kids playing together. Meet up with other AOM folks because it's the community that you know, people that you know, you understand, and all of that jazz. So do that. Do it. Even if we can't be there, you go ahead and do it. Yep. And I'm glad that people did it.
And then also we're going to talk quickly about AOM group therapy, right? This is going to be a chance to where we dive deep into some real topics, and it's not just like, oh, we answer a question, spend 2 seconds on it. It'll be like, okay, group therapy. You'll have me and Melanie there. It will be a paid group, and what we pay for, we find, research says, that we value more, and it actually helps us more. Yeah. So we're going to be launching that soon, so start thinking about it. We're going to put that bug in your mind to actually start with us and in our groups. Let's see. Somebody says, oh, shoot, Maryland, AOM peeps, where you at? We love you. We are your tribe just as much as you're ours. That is awesome. Yes. Thank you so much. So, okay, I got to take a shower because I stink like a hog. Yes.
Well, lastly, before we wrap up, thank you for rating and reviewing the podcast. If you have not done this yet, it would mean the world to us. It is really so incredibly helpful. It's social proof that our show matters to anybody. So when you rate and review, you do more than just tell us some great things. You help other people to potentially change their life in the way that your life has been changed. So it is that important. It is like literally a thing that will make someone go, I don't want to listen. They only have blank reviews or whatever. So please rate and review the podcast. It means the world to us, and it helps the show a lot.
That's right.
So, you two are amazing. Love all the shows. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily.
Anyway,
Run the at a glance says you guys are the best. You guys are the best for listening. So
that's right.
Thank you so much. We will catch you later. Have a great weekend. See you Monday morning.
All right. Bye. My arm stinks.
You stink too?
Maybe it was your armpit.
Probably was. All right, guys. Thanks so much.
I thought it was mine. Where's my plug?
I don't mind it when you stink. I know that's weird, and I just told all of our friends. But
you've said it.
I think it's, I don't know. I like it. It's like
you're a caveman.
Sexy almost. It's like caveman sexy.
Caveman chic.
Caveman chic. Okay, bye guys. Love you. See you later.
Remind me of